You have so many relationships around the NFL. When you were in Washington, you played on Mike Shanahan's team. Kyle was the offensive coordinator. You had Matt LaFleur, who was there. You also had Sean McVay, who was there. Your phone has been ringing off the hook from coaches and general managers around the National Football League. These quarterbacks and their agents hire you to train them, to get them prepared for the next level. How do you balance out when these coaches and GMs are calling you for an honest assessment on the quarterbacks that you're working with when you're hired by these quarterbacks to work with them? How do you balance that out?
So I have a long-standing relationship with those coaches, and they're going to trust the feedback that I give them. And I have to give the real feedback so that it's always credible. I can't sugarcoat things to the coaches. And here's the main reason why. If that coach drafts that person, I want them to know exactly who they're getting, right? Positives, things they got to work on, things that like maybe that need to be enhanced. I'm going to give them the reality of who that person is that they're drafting because I believe reality gives you the best chance for growth. I believe that this is just a thing across all human growth and development. When you're looking at yourself from a perspective that is not real, you limit your ability to grow, right? Why is feedback so important? Because within the feedback you get, it's usually an outside source giving you real feedback that you may not see yourself. A lot of the times in life, we hear these things called blind spots. I need somebody to make me aware of my blind spots, right? So maybe this agent who is super high on this draft pick, they pick them, right? And they would love to only have all of the great things be shared about them. But the reality is I'm helping both the player and the agent by giving the coach the reality of who that player is. Because if that coach drafts them, I don't look at it that if I share something real, that, oh my gosh, what if that guy doesn't take him? What if that guy does take him and doesn't know those things? He thinks he's getting something else. And I don't want that coach to think that, and I don't want the player to have that expectations on his shoulder that he's supposed to be something more than what he really is, because that's then trying to be too perfect. He has to know exactly who he's getting. So I share that with the coaches, and I think that that's why they respect my feedback, because I'm not going to just give them some fairy tale of, well, here's all the great things about the guy, and you should just go draft him. No, I'm going to tell you all the things that if you do pick him, here's exactly where he needs to grow. But if you do pick him, I'll also tell you why the reasons I believe he can succeed.
I think that's so on point. Dan Hellie filling in for Rich Eisen, talking to former NFL quarterback John Beck, who is the quarterback coach for 5 quarterbacks in this year's NFL draft, including Zach Wilson, including Justin Fields and Trey Lance. Kyle Trask also on that list. KJ Costello out of Mississippi State on that list as well. 32 teams in the NFL, 32 teams involved in the draft. How many of those teams out of 32, John, have reached out to you to ask you questions about the quarterbacks you're working with?
Oh, my gosh. I haven't kept track. The tough part for me is on all those pro days, every single pro day that I go to, the majority of teams are in attendance. And really, it's the teams that you know are potentially going quarterback, right? So they have, like, their offensive coordinator, their quarterback coach, their GM. I'll see those guys at the pro day. Then they'll reach out to me afterwards. Or there's some teams that, like, hey, a certain coach couldn't be at the pro day because of the numbers, but he still wants to talk to me. So I don't have, like, a list. And it's not necessarily about the 32 teams and the number of those guys. It's more about the teams that are potentially looking at quarterbacks. All of those teams that are potentially looking at quarterbacks have reached out. Oh, there's only one team that I really don't have a lot of strong ties to, and that's the New England Patriots. I only hear about stuff. I don't talk to anybody specifically within their building. And, a lot of it has to just come down to ties. Maybe there's people that are already in their guys' corner, those quarterbacks' corner, like connected to the agents that have ties there. That's like the only team within those quarterback teams that are looking at guys that I haven't spoken to this year.
John Beck, quarterback coach for 3 potential top 10 picks. Kyle Trask, who could sneak into the first round. He also worked with Justin Herbert, still does. Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Matt Ryan. The laundry list of quarterbacks that you work with is unrivaled, and he has become one of the very best quarterback coaches in the game right now. John, good luck in Michigan the rest of the way.
Dan, can I add something there real quick? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
And like anytime somebody mentions the quarterbacks that we train, I feel like it can't go without saying the guys that I work with. At 3D QB, it's more than just me. On a day-to-day basis for the last 5 years, it's been myself, Adam Dado, and Taylor Kelly. We are the team of 3D QB. So, I can't do an interview where we say all these guys that we work with because my partners, they also run point on so many of those guys.
Absolutely.
Adam Dato is the point man for so many of those guys, the Matt Staffords, the Matt Ryans, the Carson Wentz, all those guys. That's Adam. He's an incredible coach, does an amazing job, doesn't get to do all the interviews like I get to do because of my ties to the NFL, and Taylor Kelly as well. I can't tell you how many guys come to us also because of the outstanding job that those guys do. And that's really the team at 3DQB. We've been able to learn a lot over the years, work with a lot of great people. That's who we are.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.